Ford somehow managed to bone the return of the Ranger back in 2019. After an 8-year hiatus, expectations were high, and the Ranger was okay. The reason for the ho-hum response was that Ford had basically taken an 8-year-old rest of world Ranger and federalized it for the US market. But all is forgiven in 2024 as Ford has unleashed a truly all-new Ranger, and with it, a mighty Raptor variant that is glorious. But before we go down that rutted road of desert racing heaven, would you be so kind as to click the subscribe button below? Everyone here at the Empty Garage thanks you. Okay, so the 2024 Ranger Raptor isn't some gussied up poser with neat graphics and tack-on fender flares. It's a truck that handily won the midsize class in the Baja 1000. And then drove 200 miles back to home base after collecting its trophy. It truly is a street-legal race truck. To get there, Ford stuffs a burly V6 under the hood, beefs up the chassis and suspension, fits fat tires, and delivers one mean muggin' truck. The V6 in this case is the same twin-turbo 3-liter mill found in the Bronco Raptor. In that application, this particular EcoBoost is good for 418 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. But due to longer exhaust piping, the Ranger Raptor comes in at a still potent 405 horses and 430 torques. Just let that sink in for a sec. The idea of a midsize pickup truck with this kind of power would have been laughable just a few years ago, and it's still pretty wild. The new Nissan Frontier is good for a very respectable 310 horsepower and 281 torques. In ZR2 spec, the Colorado musters 310 ponies and a matching 430 pound-feet of twist. And Toyota's Fresh Taco puts down up to 278 horsepower and 317 of the twisty stuff, all of which are impressive. But the Ranger Raptor blows the doors off them all. Will Chevy, Toyota, or Nissan respond with a true competitor? Will Dodge even build a competitor? Who cares? The Raptorized Ranger chuckles at all comers with huge power from a compacted graphite iron block. It has a trick anti-lag feature in Baja mode that keeps the turbo spinning for up to 3 seconds after you come off the gas. This keeps the EcoBoost at full boil for exiting corners with alacrity and a wonderful shriek of anger. Ford notes they spent time listening to 6-cylinder engine sounds like the Nissan GT-R and Alfa Romeo Stelvio to get it just right. With the active valve exhaust, you can test out which one is best. Hint, Baja is the one you want. Ford's 10-speed automatic routes power to all 4 wheels at all times. An electronically controlled on-demand transfer case is ready for low range, and the locking differentials at both ends are on hand for when things get extra friction-free. But none of this would be very effective without the complex web of components suspending the Ranger Raptor, and on that front, Ford went wild. The standard Ranger's fully boxed frame gets beefed up with reinforcement of the front frame rails, the front shock towers, the rear shock brackets, and the suspension mounting points. The steering rack is unique to the Raptor model and is also reinforced. Lightweight aluminum upper and lower control arms share corners with 2.5-inch live valve internal bypass dampers from Fox, Ford's favored partner when it comes to building desert racers. A mix of coilovers up front and piggyback reservoir style out back, Ford digs Fox for their ability to deliver dampers that reduce heat buildup so effectively. The live valve technology is where the secret to this success lies. Each shock can adjust damping performance based on the selected drive mode by reading hundreds of inputs per second to adjust that damping in real time. It's basically like having a computer at each wheel figuring out how to best deliver that Baja drive mode we all so badly crave. Around back, Ford employs a Watts linkage with trailing arms instead of the more typical, and cheaper, pan-hard rod configuration. By limiting lateral movement of the solid rear axle, the Ranger Raptor offers better cornering stiffness and symmetrical roll characteristics. In other words, less squirreliness at the limit. This all translates to 10 inches of suspension travel at both ends and a 10.7-inch ground clearance, which is nearly 1.5 inches more than the standard Ranger. Of course, some of this ride height gain and the oh-so-wide hips can be attributed to the Raptor's wheel and tire package. A set of 17-inch alloys are mounted with 33-inch all-terrain BF Goodrich K03 tires. One of the few options on the latest Raptor are a set of beadlock capable rims for about $1,500. To keep these big meats contained, this range-topping Ranger receives punched-up fenders with functional vents that push the front and rear track out 3.5 inches versus the regular model. Adding to the purposeful look are big block FORD letters in the front grille and a high-strength steel front bash plate. Shields for the engine, transfer case, and fuel tank carry through the underbelly and out to a dual exhaust exiting at either corner. Now, the Ranger Raptor may not sound like a rocket these days with a 0 to 60 time of 5.3 seconds, but keep in mind it weighs close to 5,400 pounds. And that is more than enough quickness to get the untrained Raptor pilot in trouble fast. Remember that guy that sent his F-150 Raptor off a sweet homemade jump in someone's backyard? With the throttle pinned, he soared something like 90 feet through the air and absolutely destroyed his truck on impact. To avoid being that guy, all buyers of the Ranger Raptor are offered training at Ford's tough-sounding Ranger Raptor Assault School in Utah. Yes, please. For those times that you're not pretending to be Ivan Stewart, the big Ranger has tricks like trail control. A sort of low-speed cruise control, the truck manages the throttle and brakes so you can focus on steering. A front-facing trail camera makes this job even easier. And the giant 12-inch central screen displays it all in high def. Neat! Other neat tech includes LED zone lighting to illuminate the night and Pro Trailer Backup Assist for getting that trailer just right. A bumping 10-speaker B&O audio system keeps the music going, and a household-style outlet in the 5-foot bed is good for campsite party time. For you weekend warriors out there, that bed will hold a 4-foot sheet of plywood flat on the deck. Of course, this being a $57,000 mid-size pickup truck, it's got quite a nice cabin. The sporty steering wheel has a centering mark in the signature Raptor Code orange color. A pair of cast magnesium alloy shift paddles await your command, and get a load of those front seats. Exclusive to the Ranger Raptor, these Ford performance buckets are heavily bolstered, power adjustable, heated, and just plain look cool. Let's not forget the heated steering wheel, power rear window, fold flat rear bench, and set of 6 pre-wired upfitter switches overhead that seem destined for epic light bar duty. Something else worth remembering about the Ranger Raptor is that it's relatively small. Versus the regular Ranger? No. But versus its big brother, the F-150 Raptor? Oh yes. As in nearly 7 inches narrower. This comes in mighty handy when doing non-Baja 1000 activities, like keeping your Raptor in between the lane lines or not scraping concrete bollards at Starbucks. Not to mention parking the thing. How many times has an excited new F-150 Raptor owner raced home only to find out their Desert Racer doesn't fit in the garage? Speaking of, did I mention the 2024 Ranger Raptor can even park itself? Hey Ford, I'll take mine in Cactus Gray, please and thank you.